everyone, welcome back. It's Kristin. I wanted to share with you today not just my mess of goodness, but how I'm going to put together my Craft Roulette card. Let me see if I can pull those parameters up. 1 second. About that. For episode 271 that aired not too long ago. The parameters were matchbook card, colors are park, element was key or keys, and the random was curved and straight. Well, here we go. Oh, special side note, I made a bonus card. Stick around to the end and I'll show you what that one was. So let's see. I'm in a sense going to be casing one, a card that I made previously for Craft Roulette, as well as incorporating some elements that I've seen on Mary's card that she made, along with the special guests Amy and her daughter Rye. So I'll see if I can point them out along the way. If not, I'll definitely discuss them at the end. Okay, let me show you first the card that I'm going to be casing by myself. One momento. Okay, here is the card that I'm going to be using as my inspiration to start with. This was back from episode 267, where the parameters were 4 bar. That was like the card size, where it was like this little cutesy A1, basically almost a 5x7 folded in half. Craft store colors, sewing, sewn, all that goodness, in which I put some stitched around this oval, and stencil, which of course was the background. I really liked how this one came out. I thought it'd be super cute to do in lots of different colors, and then of course you can always adjust the sentiment based on maybe what you need. So these might be some fun taking after Sassy's LLC type of thing, where you have a whole bunch of cards on hand and then maybe going back and using one of her emergency card kits to add any type of sentiment. So I may be doing that. But again, this was the one I'm going to use for my inspiration for today. So I thought maybe we could get started with that background. Here we go. For a matchbook card. Well, this was my attempt at making this one. It's not my very first matchbook card that I've made, but it has been quite some time. So basically I started with a piece of 4 1/4 by 11-inch paper. As you can see, I had some scoring oopsies along the way, but I'm going to leave them in for some added texture and detail, and we'll see. Maybe that might actually be beneficial in the end, but we'll play it by ear. I thought this was originally about 1 inch, but it ended up being 1 1/8 inch that I scored in. I tried to make it straight. I don't know if it's the paper. I don't know if it's the user of using a scoreboard, but hey, you know, you just kind of roll with it. And while I thought this was about 4 1/4, I think I don't know, about maybe 4 3/16. Again, maybe my paper was wonky. I don't know. I did write on some of the matte layer sizes because I knew it was going to cover it up with some paper anyway, so it didn't matter. But when I measured this section here, it came out to be 4 by 4 1/16. I did put a pencil mark here on the back to know that for the inside piece, when I go to put that together, it will be about 5 1/4 tall. Which I think might be this section here, so if you're curious of where I scored at, but you know, we're just kind of rolling with it here. Let me see if I always got confused because 4 and then 4 by 1/16, it's just that slight difference. So on the back I marked the top and the bottom, so I would know when I put my stencil on how that would go. Looks like I got a little smudgy there, but you know what? I bet you something's going to cover that up and we will be okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and stencil here real quick. Doesn't have to be perfect since I know the bird's going to cover up a lot of that. But I really wanted to use this dried marigold that I have in my stash from Tim Holtz Distressing. And so I wanted to make some of the flowers that way. And I was like, ooh, flower petals, flower centers, flower petals, flower centers. Well, this is one that I used. It was from a previous Fold It Club, from the Stamps of Life, and it's a 3-piece stencil set, again, that I used on that same pink card. And, well, wouldn't you know, the centers of some of those flowers are like a darker color that she has in her line. And I was like, well, I guess that took care of that. I'm going to do flower centers. So since that's going to be the lighter of the colors that I'm going to use, I thought I would go ahead and use those first. Since these are layering stencils, I do want to make sure that my Stamps of Life logo is at least all on the same side, so I can prepare that. And really, it doesn't matter where I'm going to put it, I guess, just as long as it's kind of in there. So, I don't know, somewhere up in there, like, okay, that'll work. A nice little smattering of stuff, and then these, knowing that they're flower centers, we'll go ahead and I can line up the next stencil with those. Let's see here. Oh, here's the Fold It Club that it was. The bird and nest die. Might have been April's, but I really did like it, along with the add-on stamp set. I'll provide some more information down below about the Fold It Club in case you're interested. It's one of my favorite clubs to join. Now, dried marigold. What I've been doing is taking scrap pieces of paper and brushing on the color, and I can hold them up to each other and kind of see how I like them. It's just the way I'm doing my samples right now. Excuse me. I know that a lot of people do like their little swatches and different stuff a little differently. Totally fine. You do you. And eventually I might go back and make some actual swatch samples in a different way, because I don't mind combining different brands of ink together in order to get the color combination that I'm looking for. I think that's kind of fun, and especially if you can. And dried marigold, fun fact, one of my favorite distress colors that are available. And I absolutely love it when it's paired with aged mahogany. I can't wait to do some color combos with those two things, so I think I'm going to give that a whirl someday too. Stay tuned, right? Okay, that's coming out pretty dark, but I like it. So good to know that that one can come out darker depending on the layers that one may add. As this is dye ink, I'm not in a rush to have to get this cleaned. Although this would be a fun layer to add any paste or anything to. So I may do that in the future as well. Okay. Now, for these particular flowers, let's see if I'm lining this up kind of correctly. Like this flower here, that center is a little more towards the bottom. This one is kind of more in the middle, and the rest of the flowers seem to be fairly in the middle. It's just that particular one right there, which I think, hey look, that kind of lines up. So I know that that one there, when I put my paper down, is probably going to be about that one. And the rest should fairly line up, like this one over here at the end. I mean, does it have to be exact? No, it just has to be pleasing to the eyeballs, right? Okay, there we go. Close enough. Okay, so dried marigold. Well, I went through some of the reds because I was like, well, I do kind of want to stick with that orangey type theme. So I have Gina K tomato soup, which really looks like tomato soup to me when you like the Campbell's kind, the condensed kind that you add the full can of milk to. That's almost what ours looks like when we make it, so that's kind of enjoyable. But then I had also from Gina K Coral Reef. So again, making my little swatchies. And I'm like, ooh, that is fairly dark, but I do like how the tomato soup is a little on the orangey side. So that's what I decided to go with, and Coral Reef I'll use probably more on my bird. This way I can get a little bit of each in. And I'm going to bring in a different maybe dauber. Probably should have used that one for dried marigold since it was smaller. Just because the color tone that's already on there. So we'll see what we can do. One moment. Okay, thank you for holding. Tomato soup. Here, let's go ahead and give that a whirl. Now, I went with more of the orangey theme because sometimes in parks you have the playground equipment. You have flowers, of course. Maybe other decorative things that might be in a park, depending on which kind of park. Whether it be like a neighborhood park, whether it be a theme park, a floral botanical type park. So lots of little choices. So I went with these kind of colors. They appeal to me. And I think around the different parks, depending on the time of year, one may go. Maybe there's festivals, birthday parties for sure might be held in a park. So I think these colors work out nicely. Now I realize that this one is going right over the dried marigold I put on earlier. So I guess that might be something to focus on for the future of just exactly how they're all coming together. But you know what? That's okay. I think if I put the dried marigold on top of this tomato soup, being that it's a dye ink, you might not see it as well. So I am glad that I put that in first. And I'm not doing a real heavy hand for this tomato soup layer. So I think that that helps. If I wanted those flower centers to stand out a bit more, I probably would use maybe the oxide version, or maybe that's where that paste layer might come in. Now again, just rubbing that over. I realize the bird's going to sit about here, so I probably don't really need to concentrate as hard on that layer. But sometimes when you're stenciling a fun, pretty stencil, you just kind of can't help yourself but to do a full and complete job. I'm going to keep my samples. I keep them in a little baggie here next to me, full of different colors as I try them out, so that way I can see what I kind of like, what I don't like, and I can pull them out at random to make other color combos, or this way I'm not having to try all 5, 6, 7, 8 different colors of pink to get the right pink that I want. I've already got a sample out. So let's see here. Those are really pretty. I like how that's coming along. Now for the green, like I have this green Lucky Clover, which does remind me of grass. There's also the Distress Mode Lawn. I wasn't sure how much green I really wanted in here. I like the smattering of flowers as it is, but I'm going to go ahead and add these. Okay, since I know that this kind of lined up fairly well, let me see about where I'm at. So that flower was about here, so I know that that leaf has got to be about here. Okay, well, I do like how the packaging helped get this kind of lined up. Again, if this part's not as perfect, it's just leaves. And again, the center is going to be probably covered by the birdie, so I really want to make sure like my outline here is looking pretty good. Okay, I think I can live with that. Now, for this layer though on green, I decided to go with this key lime color. Key lime being the type of pie Rye used in her card. And she hand drew a pie for her card. She's 14. I could totally see having that drawing that she did made it to a digital stamp, made it to a physical stamp. I would use that pie and make it all kinds of different flavors. So I'm just putting it out there that if anybody's interested, maybe she might want to sell that digital artwork or do something in that regard to make a stamp set. Just saying, just putting it out there. So that's a little nod to this kind of bright, kind of limey green, if you will. As we're coming into about mid-June and everything. This is a great spring green, kind of going into those early summer days. So I thought that went well. If I was doing more this particular same card again in the autumn, you know, I probably would want to use like a darker green. That would be kind of fun. And just mix it up. Maybe I can find some type of way to case my own card for during then. Make this possibly a card for all 4 seasons. Now, have you done that? Have you cased your own cards before? Mary, if you're watching, I know you have. Or at least cased other people's. I love being able to case other people's cards. And most importantly, I love to give them credit as well. Okay, I like it. We're going with it. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So I think those are gonna be really pretty. And let's see if I can find my card base again. It's somewhere buried in the depths, right? So I think with the peach kind of color card base that I chose, that's gonna blend really nicely. Okay, a little bit of wah-wah here to squirt that up. And I do have just a little bit more ink blending to do. Hope you don't mind. Okay, let's get for the birdie. Now, on the previous card, I did use a vellum as a shadow layer. I wasn't so sure I wanted to do that as much this time, so I went with a little bit of silver. Because in parks, if there's any type of maybe playground equipment, the nuts and bolts are often silver, or at least have started out that way. So that's where I was going with that. And depending on the type of park, there's always like maybe sports equipment that might be in the park, might be silver in color. I mean, even from, you know, maybe parts of the trash can that might be there to help keep the park clean might be silver as well. I mean, who talks about trash cans with their cards? Oh my, might have to work on that. So I was just gonna kind of do that. Okie dokie. Let's get that colored. Also, I have this little piece. I lightly embossed it. I'm not sure how much you might be able to see. I'm gonna ink blend over it, but I took the die from this nest and I embossed my piece of paper with it. Rather than just die cut it, I went ahead and just did a light emboss. I did try it on a separate piece. Let's see if I can find it. And I did more of a heavier emboss. I didn't quite like that as much. I thought it definitely stood out. I wanted something a little more mellow, so that's what I went with. And we're just going to kind of ink blend around the edges here, maybe real lightly over. This isn't going to be anything super fancy. This, because I wanted to keep it brown and lighter, and of course you find brown in the park because, you know, the dirt, the tree bark, even dogs that are running around in a park, sometimes they've got brown fur. Oopsie, a little too heavy-handed there. My bad. You know what? That's okay. We'll go with it. Adds character, right? Yeah, adds character. That's what we're going to go with. This is not the star of the show, so it doesn't need a lot. I am using the Distress tea dye color. That's one of my favorite browns because it's lighter. I think some of the other browns in the line may not work because it might be too bold for this particular image. So I'm going to put that, whoopsie, I'm going to put that right here. I also corner rounded the edges. Just I thought that might make it a little bit easier. And then in a way, Ms. Birdie over here has kind of got, in essence, an abstract landing spot, if you will, since it's kind of like the nest. Okay, now for Miss Birdie, let's see here. Might have to do some fancy finagling and blocking, masking, because I do want to use this coral reef color for her main body. But I thought this weathered wood color, because weathered wood, you might find that in a park, depending on the park, or maybe the fences that back up for the house, the houses that are near the park, their fences might have that weathered wood kind of color. So I just want the beak and her little leggies to be this weathered wood color. So we'll do just a little masking because I don't want to get too much with her body, but I want to get enough for her feet and beak. Don't know if birds are actually this color in real life. Don't even know what kind of bird this is. Using a bird is also a little shout out to Rye, since she has mentioned that a hobby, an interest of hers is birds. Okay, that's looking pretty good for her there, and we'll dupe. Okay, let's see how fancy finagling we can get, because I want to keep it in the beak area, but I don't want to blend it everywhere along her body. Ooh, that got super close. I got just that little piece right there. That should do it. Let's go to it. Okay, dokie. Okay, well, that's coming out pretty good. I think the last time I used this one, I cut a separate piece and colored it and just layered it, kind of did a layer, and the last time I didn't put the feeties on, so I didn't have to worry about that. But you know, hey, each time you use it, find a new way. Okay, well, here's the reveal. Oh no, what happened to her elbow? It's all right, I shall fix that. She's got a birthmark now, right? Okay, so weathered wood. Okay, coral reef. Now, let me bring back in my example. We left her little belly white, but kind of kept her wings and different stuff that color. I think I'm going to do the same with an eye. I have an extra eyeball from the last time if I can find it, and I'll probably put some type of jewel. I bet you I've got some type of green that's more this color, or an orange. That would be a lot of fun, or maybe just some sparkly white or a black. I could find something. We'll get to that part shortly. All right, so here we go. Let's just go get after it and see what we can come up with. I don't mind coloring over this eye part here because I'm just going to be covering it up anyway, so that's pretty cool. I realize I just went over the beak, but that might deepen the color, so we'll be okay with that. I am going to see about taking this scratch piece of paper, seeing if I can get in there and just kind of okay, not bad. That way it keeps it around her belly, but I can darken those little feathers around there. Do you guys like to ink blend on your die cuts? I think it does give a fun texture, a nice little look, especially plain white. We usually have a lot of plain white scraps, right? And let's see if we can do some of the same finagling for this wing. Yeah. Now these may or may not be your ink blending type tricks that you do or use, but I think depending on the project could very well depend on your method. Do you have a favorite ink blending tip, trick, or something that you like to do? Let me know. That would be interesting because you never know what might be helpful to someone or to myself. I'd be pretty curious if you have something that you like to do that's kind of a tried and true method for getting something done, or do you just like to go forth and get what you get? Kind of got a little splotchy there. I wonder if I can somehow get that smoothed out a little bit, or somehow maybe a little more ink down. Not bad, it's coming along. Okay, let's work on her tail just a little bit. And we'll use this little piece to protect her feet. Okay, I like these little brushes that I got from iCrafter in the past. They are bristled, much like the blending brushes are, and they are a denser type feel, but they sure do get the job done. A little darker on the tail feather, because it can. Okay, not too shabby. Let's see how that's kind of looking together. Okay, we're coming up pretty good there. All right, let me clean up and I'll get back to you and we can start assembling our card. One moment. Okay, welcome back. All right, got a little cleanup and now we're time for glue. Let's go ahead and get Miss Birdie here taken care of. Now this is some silver paper that I've had in my stash, so I know the glue will take just it'll be a little slippery at first, but it will grab hold. So that way I'll let her get some dry time in here before adhering her completely down to the card. Okay, I do have a clear acrylic block just to put a little weight, especially since it's the silver paper. I want her to stay in place. There's my top, there's my bottom, so I can make sure to get that lined up correctly when it comes time to adhere this to the card. Did you play along with Craft Roulette this time? Hope so. These are some pretty fun parameters. I mean, sure, Matchbox or Matchbook card kind of throws me off because I've only made one in the past before, but you know, it is kind of a unique card style, one that can certainly be fun. Kind of lining that up. Did I even put it in the top? Yeah, I did. Phew. Phew. Okay, that's good. Switch places. I think Miss Birdie's looking pretty sharp there. Let's add our kind of wood grain bottom there. I did enjoy how subtle this came out. Just enough to give you a little hint of texture without it being, you know, just thrown in your face. Okay. And you still get to see that pretty peach cardstock underneath. And let's see. Is that maybe a pencil mark I should erase? Yeah, looks like it. That's looking good there. Okay. Alrighty. I like that. Kind of like that. I think, though, she needs a little oomph. Just a little. Searching to see if I have any close at hand. Just a little here. We'll take maybe a foam pad here on the back. see if we can give her a little pop. Up a little by her head. Okay. And let's see. Yep. And do we need just a little spot there? Perhaps, perhaps. Probably should have used different scissors to cut this with, but you know, you just go with the flow. I do have some scissors that have kind of that non-stick coating on them, so I do like to use that. Okay, let's see. Oh, that pops her up a little bit nice. That's kind of cute. Okay, now I did see Mary do this on her card, and I know a lot of them did stencils, so that was a lot of fun. She did something wild and crazy. Okay, not that wild and crazy. She did something super cute. She punched some holes in here and tied some ribbon or some string through here, rather than maybe like your general staple or two that might hold your matchbook together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Maybe I should make some pencil marks. So we'll say somewhere about on this line, which I can erase the pencil marks when I am done, and maybe some equal spacing, give or take. I might need to be a little bit more over. Okay. Oh, that's funny. That's just a piece of part of the paper because it's that, it almost looks multi-grain. So that's kind of fun. Well, we'll just punch a hole and get what you get. Let's see. Okay. Close enough. I'll get some string and we'll tie that in there. Okay. Ooh, I am missing a key parameter. Let me see what I can come up with. One memento. All right. Thanks for sticking with me there. On this particular fold-it set, there was an additional add-on stamp set that I've joined up with too. And it has many different fun sayings. I went with congrats on your new nest. Here's where some stretchy pants may come into play. Congrats on your new nest. To me, that says new home. With the new home comes new keys, and key is the parameter. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I stamped it out with some tea dye ink and then took the brush and kind of went around that. So it kind of brings our nest on up to the main focal point, but yet still not taking away too much. Oh, look, her eyeball is still missing. Well, let me find that. I had that just not a second ago. Found it. All right, one little eyeball. The particular die, the way Stephanie from the Stamps of Life designed it, is that you get two. So either you could really doll it up and have dimensional eyeballs, which, you know, that could be fun maybe for a Halloween bird. But that way, if you should lose one in the crafty process, haven't we all done that at some point in time, that it's not too shabby. Okay, now she looks a little Halloween-y kind of right there, but in comparison to my previous one, the dot really added quite a lot. So I'm wondering if with the brown, I shouldn't pull in some brown. Let's take a look at what I've got. Okay. Got dark brown eyeball. Yeah. These are some diamond dots that I had picked up at my local crafty resale store. They were selling them in small packs, so they weren't overly expensive, so that was nice. Kind of a dark brown, or what I call more the coffee kind. Coffee with cream. A little bit on the lighter brown side. Let's see. I think I'm kind of liking the light brown. If I can get it off. I think the light brown keeps it subtle, but yet ties in with the rest of the brown. Okay, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's what we will go with. Now, where do we position the eyeball? If you look at it, she looks a little sly and sneaky right about there. She's probably like, what are you thinking using that implied key for your perimeter? Well, it probably wouldn't be wrong, right? But maybe if I put her up a little, she seems a little more inquisitive. How far up or to the side do we want her to be? Should I even put eyelashes on her? That would be kind of cute. Okay, maybe somewhere right around in there. Now, the kind of glue I like to use for embellishments, I'm not sure we've ever covered this, but I like to use Gina K Designs Connect Glue. Goes on white, dries clear. I like that she's mentioned in the past, she's put like a freeze thaw agent in there, which is really good for here in Colorado, and she's coming from Wisconsin, I believe. So that is nice that if I did need to reorder more, I could always get it any time of year. That is another reason why I like the Barely Arts glue as well, because it does about the same thing, and I can get it here at my local store, or if I did place an online order any time of the year, because sometimes it can be very, very cold here. Not as cold as other places, I am aware. Okay. All right. What you think? I think she's looking pretty cute. Okay, let's go ahead and take these foam pads and get them prepared and ready to go. Garbage can. All right. Now, with foam, are you one that just sticks it down, go foam go? Or are you the kind that likes to add additional reinforcement, such as a liquid glue on top? I like to do a little liquid glue. It works for me. So that is what I will do. Just real quick. Doesn't have to be a lot. ... not a lot. Anybody familiar with that one? Just enough if I need a quick wiggle time. I have it. I mean, getting the pin back in this sometimes, right? Okay. I think front and center she will look great with. Let me just try putting that back in. Woo, okay. Yeah, that's probably gonna work out very nicely for her. And congrats on your new nest. I had put some adhesive on the back of this already. Ooh, haha. Might need to trim that down a little bit. Well, let's just do it, right? I mean, I have enough scissors in my crafty stash that it shouldn't be a problem. Now, here we go, giving a haircut trim, and we know how sometimes that can go. Cut off too much, cut off not enough, and then is it even straight? It is not straight. Here we go, trimming down the bangs again. Okay, let's see if I can get those edges with what's left on the brush there. That may work. Okay, congrats on your new nest. Oh, I think I like that. Right about there. Okay, okay. I think that came out pretty good. Let's just do a quick parameter check and then I'll show you the bonus card as well. Matchbook card. Hey, I finally said it right. Yep, matchbook style type card. Okay. This will definitely probably have to go to a crafter that knows about matchbook style cards. If I was to send it to a friend, they might not figure out how it opens, or I suppose they could untie this. Hey, what do you know? Okay, the colors were part colors. yes, I think you would see those in a park at any given time of year, or depending on the time of year. Then there was keys. I went with the implied version of a new nest, meaning new home, which means you get new keys. And then curved and straight. Most of my card base is straight with the little curves. And Miss Birdie herself, she has got some curves too. Probably like most of us, right? So I think that counts as a card for Craft Roulette. I'll take some pictures and of course get that posted. Bonus card time. Whoop whoop. Okay, I went ahead and used I believe it was number 3 that Lynn of LV handcrafted on her digital prints for the the postage edge die of Easy Wonder number 3. Well, I don't have the die yet. It is on pre-order and will be coming later. I loved the little printable that she put out. It was for cute dragons. And here is an example of that, some of the cute dragons that are in that particular set. I will, of course, make sure to give you all the links below. But how stinky adorable are those? So I went ahead, printed that page out, and used some of them standalone. I did some silver cording. I kind of like that look for a matchbook card. This little dragon just totally caught my heart. I mean, she's got a cute little dragon belly, and I just love it. And her fun orange friend. Make your dreams happen. Okay, and you're wondering, okay, we've got the curved. We've got the straight. We've got part colors. Okay, here's how I'm justifying it. Stretchy pants engaged. Birthday parties are held at the park. There are often various colors associated with the birthday party, such as the cake. Is it a boy cake? Is it a girl cake? There could be lots of colors on that cake. Not to mention the presents that may come, or the clothes that the children may wear, maybe even the playground equipment, or whatever toys that the family may bring for the children to play with. That's my story. And let's see, so part colors, matchbook card, curved and straight, key. Okay, here's what we did. I went for the inside of the card. I used Microsoft Copilot to help me design a sentiment. I wanted something that would include a dragon and something with a key. So in going with the front theme of Make Your Dreams Happen, a key to the heart, a dragon's might, wishing you strength, love, and endless light. I kind of thought that went with the somewhat dreamy quality of you can do it. So again, that was my first time using some type of AI software to create something for my card. And I thought that was nice because I tried looking through my stash. I don't have anything dragons outside of these digital printables and nothing with the word key in it. I don't even think I've got any stamps or anything about a key. I could hand draw one. I've seen it done. But I decided to try my hand at it, and this is what I came up with. I asked in talking with it, because it's almost like talking to a person, it's really kind of interesting, if there was a source for it, and it told me that no, it's not a quote or anything by someone specific, because if it was, I wanted to make sure to put their name down below. But it was just something that it said it generated based on the parameters I talked about previously. So I went ahead and did that. That's why there is no reference. You can use this if you do like it, because I asked the AI software if it had a reference, and it did not. So, hey, if anybody out there likes to create digitals, maybe that might be something you might like to use. But that's the bonus card. Here's the main card. Fun color patterns. And so I do like the park parameter. You really get to stretch those minds, if you will. I'd like to thank you for coming by my channel, watching this whole process. I know it's a bit longer of a video than I normally do. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let me know if you just want to say hi. And I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye!